Sharon, we met of Sherwood Park, Alberta. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Sharon. Let's get you to BMO and join Rod Smith and Dwayne Ford.
All right, Kate, welcome to BMO Field in Toronto. Welcome to November, the biggest time of year in the Canadian Football League. It is the East Division semi-final between the Ottawa REDBLACKS and Toronto Argonauts. And when you look at the starting quarterbacks for this game, only one playoff start in the CFL between them. That belonged to Chad Kelly, Dwayne, a year ago in the East Final, and you know he wants to erase that memory today.
Yeah, and I'm sure as much as it's not being mentioned by Chad Kelly or the Toronto Argonauts, this is very much about reversing his playoff reputation. That's how people see him, is the struggles against Montreal last season. Chad Kelly wants to show he's more the guy who is the most outstanding player, who led his team to a 16-2 record a year ago. As for Drew Brown, it may be his first career playoff start, but the fact is, this is a guy who has been to the Grey Cup every year as a Canadian Football League quarterback. He's learned his lessons well. He's an even-keeled guy. Don't expect the stage to be too big for Drew Brown in this one.
Bob Dice, only in his second full year as Ottawa's head coach, but he's one of the longest-serving members of the REDBLACKS. Going back to 2016, when they won the Grey Cup in this very field. Brian Dinwiddie hosted a playoff game in all 4 years as the Argos head coach the previous 3, where the East Division final, he too would like to erase the memory of losing to the Alouettes here a year ago. Devontae Dedmon came back into the Ottawa lineup 1 week ago against Hamilton. Critical player, especially on special teams, of course, and he is back there now. The REDBLACKS in their old Ottawa Rough Rider black uniforms, with the Argos in their powder blue, who won the toss, and they have deferred, so Ottawa to get the ball first. The second season in the Canadian Football League is about to begin. Off the foot of Lirim Hajrullahu, the East Division semifinal is underway. Comes down off the hop. It is taken by Khalil Pimpleton. And Jack Kazar, the special teams tackles leader, tied for the lead in the CFL, in on that one. Here comes Drew Brown.
Yeah, as mentioned, first career playoff start for Drew Brown. The former Winnipeg Blue Bomber came over in free agency, has provided stability, leadership at that quarterback position for the Ottawa REDBLACKS, and now looks to take the next step with this team.
A big contrast in these offenses running the football. Braylon Addison, a receiver, will start at running back. While the Argos love to pound the ball, the REDBLACKS mostly a passing team. We'll see that approach today here, and throwing for the first time, swinging it out to Justin Hardy. Second in the Canadian Football League to Justin McInnes in receiving yards, and Ottawa's nominee is their most outstanding player.
We'll take a look at the rest of this offense. Jacob Ruby, the veteran, gets the start at left tackle. Dino Boyd on the 6-game injured list. He is done for the season. As mentioned, Justin Hardy, the number 2 receiver in the Canadian Football League this season. In his last 4 games played, he's gone over 100 yards receiving in each of them.
Out of East Carolina, Justin Hardy picked up 2. Call it 1 and a 2nd and 9 here for Brown to throw to the right, and it is caught, and a first down. Deshaun Amos closing in there on Dominic Rhymes, when Rhymes comes up with the ball, and the REDBLACKS move up the field.
Yeah, nice concentration here by Rhymes out on that wide side of the field. Long throw with Amos closing. Rhymes stays with it, able to haul it in for the first down. Big conversion, good start for Ottawa.
Rhymes went over 1,000 yards for the 3rd time in his career. He first did it in his first go-round with Ottawa back in 2019. A 1st and 10 at the REDBLACKS 47. Looking for a better start in this game. And Brown is taken down. The sack. It is veteran Robbie Smith with the pressure there, and a 2nd down and long coming up for the REDBLACKS.
We'll take a look at the rest of that Toronto Argonaut defense. Dominant defensive tackle tandem in Jake Ceresna and Ralph Hawley. 8 sacks apiece this season for them. Wynton McManus, most experienced member in that linebacking core. D'Arcangelo and Adeleke, both new to that group this season. Benji Franklin led all Canadian Football League players in pass breakups this year from his boundary corner spot.
Loss of a couple of yards after that sack, so Brown in the second and long. It is caught inside the 50 and down to the Argo 45, and another first down through the air. Second catch of the afternoon for Justin Hardy.
Ottawa 2 for 2, converting in these second and long situations. Justin Hardy able to find a gap in that coverage, just sits it down. Drew Brown throws a strike. Again, the start so important for Ottawa in this ball game, given how the season series has gone between these two teams.
The Argos 2 weeks ago scored in their first 4 possessions. There's another one to Dedmon. They get him in space. Devontae Dedmon looks like another first down for the Red Blacks. That's how they want to use that talent, known for his special teams, his return prowess, but they get him there with a little bit of room, and he picks up another first.
Yeah, and Devontae Dedmon is listed on the depth chart as a running back. He and Braylon Addison, both very versatile, kind of unique skill set type guys that offer Ottawa a chance to do some different things offensively here today.
They're down to the Argo 32 in scoring range now in a first and 10. Short pass again to Dedmon, again to the right. And once again, after the catch, he works his way up to another Red Black first down, and an impressive opening drive here for Ottawa.
One of the keys to these kinds of plays, and we've seen a couple of them now, Dedmon catching the ball out in the flat. He's going to free release from the backfield on the left side of your screen. Watch the job that Dominique Grimes, Jalen Acklin are doing out in front, blocking to help Dedmon pick up another Ottawa first down.
That one's intended for Khalil Pimpleton, and it falls incomplete. So a second and 10 is coming up. Pimpleton, Ottawa's nominee for Rookie of the Year, and really only played barely half of the season, but certainly a force as a receiver and also in the return game.
There on the far side, you see Tommy Condell, Ottawa's offensive coordinator. Significant changes, as mentioned, to his offensive lineup in the final weeks of the season.
Second and 10 inside the Argo 20 for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Brown to pass again. It is caught. Braylon Addison with his first catch as he gets it down closer to the 10. And could be a third and short coming up here for Ottawa, about a foot away.
Just a little check down there for Addison. We're seeing him moving around, loosening up from the formation a lot as Brown stays in offensively here. No one behind him.
Third down, Brown keeps, pushes it left, and it looks like he has enough for another Ottawa first down to make it a first and goal coming up here. As they sort this one out. Didn't need much.
Loses his lid on that one. But here you'll see pretty good push on the left side of that offensive line. Gets in behind the All-Star, East Division All-Star guard, Drew Desjardins. Nice movement there from he and Jacob Ruby.
Now they're bringing the sticks in. Based on where the yard markers were before, it looked like they would have enough to get it, but it looks like a close measurement coming up here. And what a point this would be for the Argo defense. They stretch them out. First and goal, Red Blacks. Drew Brown, 6 of 7. Throwing the ball a lot in this opening possession. As you know, Ottawa will. 10th play of the drive coming up here from the Argo 9. Red Blacks know they need a good start against this Toronto team. Brown inside the 5 and dropped. Intended there for the rookie Nick Martner. Drafted 2nd overall in 2024, but can't hang on and would have been inside the 5.
Yeah, it just looked like this one handcuffed Martner a little bit as he's going to the turf to get it. Trying to get his hands in position to keep that one from getting into the pads where it takes that hard bounce. Just unable to adjust to that one.
Slams a hand to the turf. Second and goal coming up. Empty backfield. Brown under pressure, gets away. Derek Parrish chasing, and it hits the turf before Jalen Acklin in the end zone. So in that first and goal, they had 2 plays to reach it. They could not. So it's a third down coming up, and Lewis Ward will come on to see if the Red Blacks can get the first points of this game.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jalen Acklin was the primary receiver on this one. It was a bit of a double move, and out and a quick up. Brown had him early, but because of pressure, it takes the quarterback out of his rhythm. Tried to get it to him late, but by that time, wasn't able to get a good throw. So Ottawa's second down success came to an end.
So that from the 16, and the Red Blacks do get the first points of this game. 3-0 on that field goal after an impressive drive by Ottawa. Chad Kelly 2 weeks ago engineered 4 touchdown drives in their first 4 possessions. Looking for a big start for the Argo offense coming up. A year ago in the Eastern Final, Chad Kelly's first playoff start. And Marc-Antoine Dequoy picked him up in the Argos' opening drive, took it in for a touchdown. One of 4 interceptions thrown. Kavianento had another one for a pick 6, and a nightmare day for Chad Kelly, his last playoff game.
Yeah, and this, again, the Argos don't talk about last year. This is a new season, new situation for them, but the fact is, for Chad Kelly, he wants to erase that memory.
And he swings it out to Mackay Polk, one of the great newcomers for the Argos, 10th in the CFL in receiving yards, 2nd among Canadian Football League rookies.
And we take a look at the Toronto Argonauts offense. Both guards, Dylan Giffen on the left, Anthony Vandal on the right, making their first career playoff starts in this ballgame against a couple experienced Ottawa D tackles. You mentioned Mackay Polk, terrific season for him. Over 100 yards in both games against Ottawa this season.
On the second down, handing off Kadeem Carey. Ottawa concentrating on the rush defense, which was in a rough spot really 2 weeks ago when the Argos ran all over them, but good stop there to force a 2-and-out for the Argos.
And the way the Argos controlled the ball, particularly through the first 3 quarters of the last regular season meeting between these 2 teams, there will certainly be some emphasis on stopping the run for the Ottawa defenses. That'll be one of their keys to getting off the field, quite frankly.
And they do that time, so it's John Haggerty in to punt it away. His first punt against the Red Blacks 2 weeks ago wasn't until late in the first half. Dedman and Pimpleton back for it. Taken by Dedman. Across the 25 and out of bounds. Drew Brown 6 for 9 on his opening drive for 69 yards. Led them down to a first and goal, and they settled for a field goal. But the Red Blacks in this playoff game have the 3-0 lead. Year as a CFL starter and first year in Ottawa, and Drew Brown, a record of 8-6-1 as a starter, but just shy of 4,000. And you see, it's the most passing yards single season in Ottawa football history.
Ottawa football history.
Includes Russ Jackson in the old Rough Rider days.
Yeah, terrific start to his Red Blacks career for Drew Brown. Missed a couple of games due to injuries, so just putting that into perspective, the job he's done in helping turn things around in the nation's capital.
All 3 Red Blacks quarterbacks. You saw Henry Burris and Trevor Harris too. Well, they're running the ball. And a good carry there by Braylon Addison. A receiver moved into the backfield, and good pickup there on first down for the Red Blacks. Drew Brown's family here as well today. His mother Terry, his wife Megan, his sister Christy as well. Of course, Drew lost his father Dave in early July 2023. Big moment for the Brown family to watch Drew in his first CFL playoff start. And a flag comes out on that second down and short for the Red Blacks.
Defensive offside. Toronto number 95. 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
It's Jordan Williams in his first year in the CFL called. Inserted into the Toronto lineup after it was confirmed that DeMonte Coxie is hurt. And As a receiver, though, in the roster juggling, Williams ends up getting into the game. And it's a first down on the penalty as well for the Red Blacks at the Ottawa 41 with a 3-point lead. Second possession. Brown with time. Soft toss over the middle. It is complete. And Dominic Rhymes has it and takes it out of bounds. Well, Drew Brown, big game football experience in college. This was the Hawaii Bowl back in 2016 against Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, finished up his college career at Oklahoma State, but Drew Brown had been the starter at the University of Hawaii prior to that. Obviously, big moment for him. And no doubt, different level, but drawing on some of his experience in college here today.
And drawing on CFL experience, backing up Zach Collaros the last couple of years with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and then signing on this year as a free agent with Ottawa. Flea flicker time. Back to Brown, looking deep. And the coverage is there for Hardy. Wanted a flag and got one. Benji Franklin, one of the two Argos in coverage on Hardy, and a late flag does come out for interference.
Yeah, initially,
Defensive pass interference. Toronto number 23. The ball will be placed where the infraction occurred. First down.
Justin Hardy at the bottom of your screen. See Addison take the handoff, flip it back. I thought the coverage was pretty good. Benji Franklin stayed in good position, didn't really bite on the run fake, but just got a little too handsy with the receiver, and that's the call.
The big first down to the Argo 30, taking the handoff and dumping it out to Hardy. And he cuts it back and picks up a few yards there, but that was a 32-yard pickup on the interference penalty to get the Red Blacks back in scoring position in Argo territory.
A lot of talk in the lead up to this game about the difference between these two teams in terms of their respective run games, and obviously a different look for Ottawa with Braylon Addison at the running back spot. But what we're seeing early is just a different approach to the high percentage of a traditional run game, with some of the passes we're seeing to Hardy and to Dedmon, to Braylon Addison as well. Just short, quick passes that are an extension of the run game as opposed to handoff.
2nd and 7. It's caught. It's Addison, and down closer to the 20. That'll be close to another first down. You're right. We talked to Drew Brown about that and just how important is it to run the football in the CFL. And it depends on the skill set of your players, and this is the way they're using them here, even out of the backfield.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to watch, even just the pre-snap motion.
Looks like another first down on that keeper by Drew Brown.
Because of the personnel that Ottawa is using, as mentioned, you can have Braylon Addison on the field as a running back or as a slot. You can have Devontae Dedmon, same thing. He can be the running back, he can be a wide receiver. So the challenge for Toronto defensively is that Ottawa can be in a 4-receiver, 2-back set. They could be in a 5-receiver, 1-back set. They could go empty, full spread with 6 receivers with the exact same personnel on the field.
But right now, they have Addison back there and Dedmon. And Dedmon gets the ball, and he's going nowhere. They have that one stuck right at the 20, pushing Devontae Dedmon back. Falero to Rimolade. His second year with the Argos. Part of that great defense last year with Toronto, helping the Argos to a 16-2 record.
And there you see the co-defensive coordinators. The Toronto Argonauts, Kevin Iben, longtime Argo linebacker, and William Fields, defensive back. Broke into the league with Calgary, spent some time in Winnipeg as well.
Those two moving up in those positions to replace Corey Mace, who went on to become the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who has a big game today later. 2nd and 11, throwing again inside the 10, Hardy. First down inside the 5. Another 1st and goal coming up here for the Red Blacks.
Justin Hardy working out of the slot into the boundary. Time Braylon Addison loosens up as if it's going to be trips into the boundary, comes back in. There's a running back, part of the protection scheme there. The check release for him. The strike to Justin Hardy. Sends the Red Blacks up in close.
And a much different start to this game than the one 2 weeks ago. Dustin Crum in at quarterback in the first and goal. Fakes the handoff, keeps himself. Running QB, picks up about a yard there. Second down and goal coming up.
And it wouldn't be surprising at all, again, given the sort of running back by committee and the creativity involved, to see an expanded package involving Dustin Crum in this one as well. Terrific rushing quarterback, led the all CFL quarterbacks in rush yards in 2023.
Back-to-back 11-play drives here for Ottawa. The 11th one of this one coming up. You saw the difference in plays. A very different start, where the Argos, as said last week or 2 weeks ago, scored in their first 4 possessions. End zone look. Touchdown!
Wow.
Oh, what a catch by Braylon Addison. He was well covered. He went up for it. And the Red Blacks setting a very different tone so far in this playoff game.
A complete reversal, as you said, of that game 2 weeks ago, where the Argos dominated the time of possession. Braylon Addison on the left side. Essentially picks that one off the nameplate of Royce Metier, who is in coverage. Nice adjustment to the ball there by the veteran Braylon Addison in his 6th CFL season.
With Metier right there with him. Addison, and a big touchdown, and a 10-point lead in back-to-back drives of 11 plays each. First the field goal, then this. Touchdown Addison. Red Blacks on top.
The man of the moment, Braylon Addison. With the game's first touchdown, he's going to motion out of the backfield, work towards the corner, the free safety. Royce Metier is following him. It looks at the tail end of this one. Ball's in the air. As Metier gets his head around in time, but the ball actually thrown behind the defender as you see Addison adjust, reach over top to make the grab.
In his 6th year out of Oregon, started his CFL career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Just like Jalen Ackland, just shaking his hand, but what a big moment for him. And this touchdown for Ottawa as Richie Leone kicks it off. Goes to Denarian Grant inside the 20. And he gets up across the 40. So for Tommy Condell, Drew Brown, and the way that they've been using all their offensive weapons so far, assertive, much different than 2 weeks ago for the Red Blacks offense, and a 10-0 Ottawa lead. A year ago, Darius Pickett starred with the Argos. Then he signed on with the Red Blacks. And over a month ago, this injury early against Hamilton ended Darius Pickett's season with the Achilles injury. Wishing he could be in this game today to help the Red Blacks out. Let's go down to Matthew Shinetti. Matthew?
Yeah, no doubt, Rod, that Darius Pickett would want to be playing today, but I got to tell you, he's been flexing with some really, really cool swag on the sidelines. But knowing the energy of this team, that fast start, what kind of leadership role have you tried to play to get your team ready for this week? I know you've been DJing at practice, too.
Yeah, just making sure that I'm bringing the same energy that I was bringing on the field. That's why the DJ thing started, right? I want to be the party starter at all times, no matter what I'm doing. But it's important for them just to feel my energy, feel my presence. And they've been doing a hell of a job this week. Hell of a job of week at practice. Energy's been high, the playoff game, and we're ready to play today.
It looked really jittery on the sidelines. I saw Lorenzo Malden and Darius Bladdock kind of almost looked like they were going to fight each other. They were getting ready for this game. Take us through the pulse of what this team is feeling right now, especially being up 10.
It's pretty unexplainable right now. I mean, the energy in the locker room, you felt it. It's the playoffs. We ready to have some fun. We ready to dominate today. And I mean, as of right now, that's exactly what we're doing.
Thanks, Darius. Wish you were out there.
Thank you. I wish I was too.
You can be sure the Red Blacks wish that too. And hey, just because he can't play doesn't mean he can't keep starting the party. Darius Pickett. First down Argos on that pass to Kevin Mittell. Another one. Another catch too. Mackay Pope down at the Red Blacks 35. So Chad Kelly and the Argonaut offense in response down 10, working quickly down the field.
Yeah, tremendous response here by the Argonauts, and a beautiful throw here from Chad Kelly. Nice placement to his leading receiver, Mackay Polk. Those two really catching fire down the stretch this season.
Polk's numbers really jumping off the page in the last 6 games. Back to the ground. Kadeem Carey trying to push it down closer to the 30.
We mentioned earlier the Argos with a pair of guys with 8 sacks. Lorenzo Malden and Mike Wakefield for Ottawa also in that 5-way tie for the league lead with 8 sacks. Bennett Williams sat out last week, but he draws in place of the injured Adarius Pickett at that nickel linebacker spot. Keep an eye on Damon Webb at the boundary half. 2 pick sixes for him off Chad Kelly when these two teams met in September.
And there was a holding penalty on the left guard, Dylan Giffen, pushing the Argos back to the Ottawa 44 and a 1st and 20. Kelly running a draw to Deontay McMahon, finds some room. Money Hunter, the safety, coming in to help out with the tackle, and Javon Santos Knox. Still a 2nd and long coming up here for Toronto.
Santos Knox had a stint on the 6-game injured list, but healthy for the stretch run, certainly easing some of the pain of the loss of Adarius Pickett as he provides some leadership and energy on that defense.
He was missing for about a 2-month stretch. 2nd and 13 to the right, incomplete. 3rd down coming up. Late here in the 1st quarter, the intended target, David Unger.
Yeah, and it looked like Kelly and Unger maybe got their signals crossed a little bit on that one. Ryan Dinwiddie looking to get things clarified on the sidelines.
And so Lirim Hajrullahu, in his 1st year back in the CFL, back with the Argos where he won a Grey Cup in 2017. He was 55 of 61, the longest of 51. This one will be put down by John Haggerty inside the 44 for Hajrullahu. For the Argos' first points of the game, and he gets it. Field goal Toronto, and that is quarter time. So it does end on a positive note for the Argos with points on the board. But the REDBLACKS serving notice this will be a much different game than the one Toronto dominated through 3 quarters 2 weeks ago here at BMO Field. After 10-3 Ottawa. At this point 2 weeks ago, the Argos led by 3 touchdowns, about to make it 4. REDBLACKS offense staying on the field, Dwayne, much different so far in a 10-3 lead.
Yeah, and that time of possession, obviously the biggest turnaround from the last meeting between these two teams. We remember joking after that when the Argos had won the time of possession battle. By the time the 3rd quarter was over, that's how one-sided it was. They were dominating with the running game, holding onto the ball. Again, people wondered whether Ottawa, without a traditional run game, so to speak, would be able to sort of even out that time of possession, stay on the field, keep the Argo defense out there for extended periods. But they've demonstrated with their high percentage passing game, some creativity offensively, that so far they have been able to accomplish just that.
Well, this is possession number 3, 2 11-play drives. Brown is 11 of 14, including a lot of those short passes you talked about. Working for Ottawa, but a pump fake, and he is sacked again. This time it's Jordan Williams. The Argo rookie coming in, getting a chance to play in this game and getting the sack there, and a big loss for Ottawa.
Yeah, Jordan Williams, number 95, getting in on that D-line rotation. And there alongside Ralph Hawley. Nice swim over top there. Puts the right guard, Dariusz Bladek, in a tough position.
Not to be confused with former Nationals linebacker Jordan Williams, who retired after last season and had been with the Argos. 2nd and 20. And dumping it over, coming across is Pimpleton. Again, trying to get these speedy, athletic receivers in space, see what they can do after. But that time, not nearly enough. Still a 3rd and 10 coming up. But back to the original line of scrimmage. And Richie Leone will come on to punt it away.
Argos at least stemming some of that Ottawa momentum. The good offensive drive that put 3 points on the board. Followed up by this 2 and out. provided by the defense. We'll see what Janarian Grant can do here on special teams.
Leone standing at his 25. Janarian Grant standing at his 25. And he gets it just outside that, and he backtracks to go to the right. Looking to find the edge, and he's taken down just over the 30. Well, Craig presents the next chapter in the Batman saga, starring Academy Award nominee Colin Farrell, The Penguin. An HBO original limited series is streaming now, only on Craig. Started watching this, Mr. Ford.
You started watching?
2 thumbs up so far.
Yeah, I have heard rave reviews from you and our statistician today, John Perlberg. Big fan of The Penguin.
Burley likes it. First and 10 at the Argo 32. The last time they had the ball. Late in the first quarter, drove down and got in range for a Lirim Hairelahu field goal. But so far, on both sides of the ball, it's been a different story compared to that last meeting. Because both of the regular season meetings were one-sided in the first half. The one in Ottawa in Week 14, at halftime, the REDBLACKS led 31-3. Trying to run, and again, one big difference you're noticing so far is the run defense for the REDBLACKS. Well, DeMonte Coxie, one of their top receivers, and suffered just a terrible knee injury last week against the Edmonton Elks.
Well, there you can see that leg getting whipped around. Coxie been practicing, worked out prior to this game. Game time decision. Argos deciding to hold him out of this one. He's not quite there.
2nd and 9. Oh, Kelly's hit hard. Sacked. Lorenzo Malden coming in. Not only took Kelly down, but he really decked him. And Kelly taking a knee again, needing some time before he does get up to walk off the field.
Malden on the right side of your screen. There's a bust in that protection scheme.
And the
Some
ball.
miscommunication. Guy who leads the league in QB pressures comes through unblocked, pops the ball loose, and Bennett Williams with the recovery.
Not only the sack, but you see that ball come loose. Forcing a fumble is Malden. Ottawa ball in the Argo zone with a 10-3 lead.
There's the man of the moment. Lorenzo Malden comes up big. Left side of your screen. Dejon Allen, the right tackle. Ended up not blocking anyone on that play. He started off fanning out and then realized too late that Malden was his guy, couldn't bounce back in. You saw Chad Kelly looking a little irked, eyeing up that O-line as he went back to the bench, making sure they get things straight.
At the Toronto 23, REDBLACKS and Drew Brown, he steps up, being chased, looks to the end zone, nearly intercepted. Deshaun Amos, who leads the Argos in interceptions, nearly had one there in the end zone to snuff out that Ottawa drive. And he knows it.
Yeah, Amos and Metier both back there thinking they might have had a shot at this ball. Rare bad decision for Drew Brown, or he just didn't get enough on the ball as Jalen Ackman had some room in behind those two defenders. Throw is short. Ottawa lucky to avoid the turnover there.
Metier might have had a shot at it with Amos deflecting it in front of him. 2nd and 10 at the 23, and it's whistled down before the snap of the football, and a flag comes out.
Count violation, Ottawa number 3. This is a 5-yard penalty. It remains 2nd down.
As announced by the referee Andre Prue, as it goes back to the Argo 28 now for 2nd and long.
We've already got a bit of a sense of what both of these two defensive lines can do, particularly and get into the more obvious pass situations.
Four-man rush. It's complete. It's Nick Marner inside the 15. Puts his head down, and he gets close to the 10, and it looks like a first down for the Red Blacks on that second and long conversion.
A nice effort here by big Nick Marner after the catch. A lot of room underneath there. Big target, 6'6", just coming on the under route from the wide side of the field.
Gets it down to the Argo 12. Red Blacks have the lead, looking for more after the turnover. The toss and the reverse to Pimpleton. Finds the edge, but not much more. And he keeps his feet. He's still trying, but the Argos do have him swarmed. Not much of a pickup there. In fact, a loss of about a foot or two for the Red Blacks.
Yeah, trying to get one of their fastest players out in space on the wide side of the field. But good disciplined defensive play here by the Argos not to be fooled. Get all the flow going to the right. Bring Pimpleton back the other way. But Sean Amos, the Argos nominee, is most outstanding defensive player. There to make a play on it.
Dustin Crum is out, Drew Brown back in. He's got lots of time. All day running around and then going to the right, and he was targeting Addison. And a late flag does come out after that one goes incomplete.
I wonder if this may be illegal participation.
Illegal participation, Ottawa number 0. He went out of bounds on his own and was the first player to touch the football. That penalty's declined. Third down.
So field goal situation again for the Red Blacks. All of this coming after the turnover. Lorenzo Malden hitting Chad Kelly, who coughed up the ball, and Bennett Williams recovered it. But the Argo defense doesn't let them get much further than that, and so they'll go for 3 and see if they can restore their 10-point lead. Lewis Ward, 1 for 1. His first taste of playoff action since the 2018 Grey Cup, his rookie year. Put down by Richie Leone and put through by Ward. A 20-yard field goal, and again a 10-point spread as Ottawa leads this one 13-3. Kadeem Carey started his career in Calgary, enjoying a great first year with the Argos. More on him coming up. East semifinal. Great first year in double blue for Kadeem Carey, third in the CFL in rushing yards behind Brady Oliveira and William Stanback. With more, let's send it back to Matthew.
Yeah, Rod, and it's the first time in his CFL career that Kadeem Carey has played in all 18 games, and it was a one-year contract with the Toronto Argonauts. The Argos thought they might be taking a risk, but Kadeem Carey knew he had all the power, because if you look on his neck, well, it's a multicolored necklace that his daughter Kiara, Kiki for short, gave her father just before the season. And I asked him the power of that necklace, and he said, "It's kept me safe all season long."
Big play, Mackay Polk. Taken off. Gone for the Argo touchdown. And for Argo fans, that's more like it. And more of what we saw a couple of weeks ago between these two teams here. One big play. And the Argos, an extra point away from getting back to within a field goal.
Yeah, and this one's not going to do much to help them in terms of that time of possession battle with that quick strike, but no doubt happy to take it on the scoreboard. Mackay Polk, who has been red hot the final third of the season, is wide open. Down that seam, Chad Kelly. Always happy to take a shot at the big play. Comes through with the throw on that one.
Harrell with the extra point. And that has been typical of this Argo offense. They showed signs of that, of course, last year as well, that they can strike quickly with big plays. And they certainly do there to get right back in this 70-yard touchdown catch. Chad Kelly to Mackay Polk.
Watch Polk work working out of the slot here. Halfback kind of sits as he's looking into the formation. And then gets caught scrambling, trying to get back. Money Hunter, the safety's not able to get all the way over there. As Polk reels it in and takes it to the house.
Mackay Polk, first year out of Mississippi State, second in receiving yards in the CFL among rookies behind Ontario Wilson of Winnipeg, and really gelling since Kelly's return, especially the last 5-6 games of the regular season. And by the way, Dwayne, a cousin of Adarius Pickett.
Yes.
Both growing up in the Bay Area in California. Pickett, they went to the same high school. Pickett about 5 years older than Polk, but enjoying the moment in the playoffs while his cousin is not able to play. And a touchdown pass for Chad Kelly.
Mackay Polk has just gotten better and better every week, quite frankly, over the course of his rookie season here in the Canadian Football League. Certainly following in the footsteps of his cousin Adarius Pickett, a star in this league.
3 catches, 101 yards. In the 2 other games against the REDBLACKS, he had 104 and 105. Goes over 100 again against Ottawa. And you look at since week 14, when he had 7 catches for 105. You look at the most receiving yards since then, and he leads the way ahead of Stephen Dunbar and Kenny Lawler, Rhymes and Hardy as well.
Yeah, healthy margin there, as you see, almost 100 yards more than Stephen Dunbar for Mackay Polk in that stretch. Became the Argos' leading receiver, their nominee as most outstanding rookie this season. Ironically, in his NFL journey prior to coming north, actually crossed paths with Khalil Pimpleton and Shamar Bridges, 2 other most outstanding rookie nominees in the East.
He and Bridges were in training camp with the Baltimore Ravens together. Both outstanding rookie receivers, as is Pimpleton, coming in the CFL 24. So Ottawa football, their lead down to 3 now. Second down coming up. Pimpleton broke out in a big way in Edmonton. A 70-yard touchdown in that game against the Elks. And valuable kick returner as well. Well, Devontae Dedmon was hurt. With the influx of talent in the CFL, those 3 names alone, mentioning Bridges, season cut short, but outstanding rookie receiver with Hamilton. Brown throwing, caught, first down, and more for Braylon Addison inside the Argo 45. So after that big play by Toronto, REDBLACKS knowing the importance of answering back and not just going 2 and out.
Yeah, another nice adjustment to the football. We talked about the one on his touchdown catch by Braylon Addison. Makes that one look easy. The twirling in midair to reel in that ball, thrown a little bit behind him. Another big second down conversion for his team.
The first playoff meeting between Ottawa and Toronto at the CFL since 1990. Got a good one going here at 13-10. REDBLACKS leading as that one is blown dead.
Illegal procedure. Ottawa number 61. 5-yard penalty.
We'll put him 5 yards further back. Braylon Addison's mentioned starting in Hamilton, a great year. Great compliment to Brandon Speedy Banks with the Ticats back in 2019.
Yeah, fantastic year for him. A guy who actually broke into the Canadian Football League with the Toronto Argonauts. Couldn't crack their roster, was released, went on to become a star in Hamilton. Battled injuries a little bit the last couple of years, but playing a big role here.
We'd like to welcome viewers from TSN 5 and watching now canceled F1 qualifying. Rod Smith, Wayne Ford, Matthew Shinetti. Here's the CFL's Eastern semifinal. The Ottawa REDBLACKS with a much better start against the Argos in this game. We just saw a reception for Braylon Addison on the screen. He's had a couple of big plays to get them down inside the Argo 30. And And a 1st and 10. Ottawa's offense much different in the first half than it was against the Argos the last time they met 2 weeks ago here at BMO Field. Drew Brown, the Ottawa quarterback in his first year as a CFL starter, taking the handoff, rolling to the right, completing it to Khalil Pimpleton, who's trying to break more inside the 25 after a pickup of about 3 yards. The second down coming up, Royce Metier in on the tackle.
Yeah, Ottawa again off play action, trying to get the ball to Pimpleton in space. Delacaye and Metier rallying to the football to make the play.
The Argos leader in tackles. Out of the University of Guelph, started his career in Calgary, Royce Metier. On a 2nd and 6 at the Argo 23. After giving up that quick touchdown to Toronto, the Red Blacks coming right back at a 4-man rush, throwing to the right. It is caught inside the 20, and that is the fullback, Anthony Gosselin, right near the first down marker for Ottawa. It is indeed a first down.
Gosselin loosening up from the formation there. Just a quick out. See the linebacker, D'Arcangelo, sitting inside, leaving Gosselin a little bit of space to operate.
A rare catch for Gosselin, but a big one there and a first down. Handing off to Addison, and he is tackled by Isaac D'Arcangelo, the weak side linebacker, after a pickup of a couple of yards. And a running play for the running back, Braylon Addison.
And as you see, Isaac D'Arcangelo tracking that one down. A guy who's been a nice find for Toronto this season, with injuries to Jonathan Jones and Fraser Sopik, both of whom are veterans who had seen time at that weak side linebacker spot. Both currently on the injured list. D'Arcangelo has been productive in their absence.
Down to the Toronto 15. Red Blacks. Brown caught. Pimpleton and Metier in on the tackle again as he gets it down to the 10. It'll be shy of a first down by a couple of yards. And a 3rd down coming up here for Ottawa.
Yeah, big series there for Royce Metier. You're going to see Metier in the middle of the field. He's going to pick up Pimpleton, who's coming from the far side of the field on that under route. Nice adjustment by him to wrap up a slippery player in space, Tommy Condell. Wishing they just had another foot or two to try and get Pimpleton free.
Instead, they settle for a field goal again as Lewis Ward goes 3 for 3. So they do answer after that quick Argo touchdown, going down for a field goal. Ottawa hanging on to that lead. East Division semifinal at BMO Field in Toronto.
You okay?
I mentioned that Formula One qualifying had to be canceled today, but we've got the race coming up tomorrow. Sao Paulo Grand Prix. You can tune in tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Pacific on TSN. With a beautiful look at BMO Field, right on Lake Ontario, home of the Argos since 2016. A memorable year for the Ottawa Red Blacks. This is where they won their one and only Grey Cup. Coming into the league, and that's Kevin Mittal with another good run after the catch for the rookie Mittal, drafted 5th overall by the Argos in 2024.
Yeah, getting a good look at a pair of first-round receivers in this ball game. Nick Mardner for Ottawa, the number 2 overall pick, has already been active in this one. Kevin Mittal out of Laval.
Look at the difference, Dwayne, in time of possession compared to their game. It was completely reversed a couple weeks ago. Ottawa dominating in that stat and leading this game, but back on the Argos, caught, touchdown, Tavares Daniels. That offense doesn't need to possess.
Yeah, I was going to say the Argos don't care about those time of possession stats. Just look at the scoreboard. Big play team, showing they can get it done in different ways. It was a dominant run game, kept Ottawa's defense on the field for extended periods 2 weeks ago, and now it's the quick strikes attacking that seam again. This time Tavares Daniels with the major.
Tying the game and the point after by Hiralahu give the Argos their first lead of this 2024 East semi-final. A couple of big passes by Chad Kelly, going for touchdowns. First Mackay Polk and now Tavares Daniels.
Yeah, Daniels is going to emerge as the number 2 receiver towards the top of your screen. Inside man. He and David Unger both start off on vertical releases. In the corner, Brandon Dandridge got held close to the line of scrimmage with the route by Unger. Damon Webb kind of sat down in the flat as Daniels went deep. Kelly finds him for the Argos' second big play touchdown.
Well, it says it all for Ottawa REDBLACKS and Coach Tommy Condell, with his offense getting set to take over again after that quick Argo touchdown. Tavares Daniels, in his 8th year at Notre Dame, started with Calgary Rookie of the Year in 2016. Later went to Edmonton. This is his 4th year in Toronto and over 1,000 yards receiving last year. Limited to 622 in the regular season this year. But another big playoff touchdown. Daniels, shorter kick down at the 30. Gosselin has it, and he is tackled by Jack Cassar, who is the special teams tackles leader along with A.J. Allen of Saskatchewan this year.
And the Argos on special teams on their kickoffs, they've gone for that sort of moonshot kick, a high, shorter kickoff every time. They don't want to give Dedmon or Pimpleton a chance to handle the ball. So put it up high so your coverage team has a chance to get back there, not quite as deep. And you're much happier with Anthony Gosselin, some of the guys who are usually blocking, being the ones handling it instead of the threat of kicking it deep to the dangerous Dedmon and Pimpleton.
And Ottawa only gets it back to the 34, so all things considered, that strategy pays off on that kick by Hiralahu. The 34, the REDBLACKS, trailing for the first time in this game. 17-16 Toronto, late first half. It's Brown. Their short pass to Addison. Turns it up, gets up around the 40, and he's being wrestling down by Wynton McManus as the 3-minute warning is issued. And a second and short coming up here for the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Brilliant catch by Addison. And later the Argos had a couple as well. It's just a 1-point game. REDBLACKS certainly different than 2 weeks ago against the Argos, but it's still a Toronto lead.
We have a dynamite halftime coming up because this is a dynamite football game for the Toronto Argonauts. I mean, they've had the football 5 minutes and 46 seconds. REDBLACKS 21-33, but the Argos up by 1, all about the big plays. Who doesn't love playoff football?
There it is.
Yeah, Kate, just when we're hyping up time of possession, the Argos get those 2 quick touchdowns. Mackay Polk 70 yards, Tavares Daniels 41 yards. They lead by a point late in the half. Drew Brown, and with Benji Franklin all over Khalil Pimpleton. Pimpleton does make the catch and pick up an Ottawa first down.
Yeah, tight coverage on the play. Pimpleton do a nice job to get his hands on that football. Good strong catch with Franklin trying to pull the arms apart and pop that ball free.
Get it up to the Ottawa 48, and a big possession here late in the half for the REDBLACKS. The offense is trying to keep it off the field and keep it out of the hands of Chad Kelly, who's had the hot hand right now. Brown scrambling around, gets rid of it, and coming back to the ball is Pimpleton, shy of a first down, but it will set up a second and short for Ottawa across midfield.
Yeah, solid first down pickup there for Ottawa. Drew Brown getting on the move, using his legs to extend the play. Nice job by Pimpleton making himself available to his quarterback on the scramble.
Another completion for Brown. He is 21 of 26 for 205 yards and a touchdown to Braylon Addison. Productive first half for Brown and the Ottawa offense. Just inside the Argonauts zone of the Toronto 54. Second down, handing off. That's Addison, and he had to get up just a couple of yards. It looks like he has enough for another Ottawa first down. Indeed he does as the sticks move.
Take a look at the blocking up front. The fullback Gosselin is a tight end on the left side. Addison spots his hole, knows the situation in terms of down and distance. Recognizes just plunging forward. Get him a fresh set of downs.
The Montreal Alouettes are awaiting a winner in this game in the Eastern Final next week. Late in the half, it is caught and ripped out with him still up. And do the Red Blacks get the ball anyway? Argos thinking they have it. Darius Bladek, one of the Red Blacks, rushing in after Pimpleton coughed it up. In the hands of Jacob Ruby, the left tackle, alertly coming in, and what could have been a disaster for Ottawa.
That tackler closed quickly there on Pimpleton. Looked like it was the weak side linebacker.
The ball carrier was down with contact prior to fumbling the football. Ottawa will remain in possession.
And well, it looked like his right knee was heading towards the turf. Whether it actually touched or not, we'll try and get another look here. In the meantime, the Red Blacks are going to try and get the ball snapped. Absolutely. Right knee touches down. Great call by the officials.
Excellent call. They got it. And it's still Ottawa ball. And it's right at the 45. And that is caught. And it's a first down for the Red Blacks.
And there you see top two guys, all-purpose yards per game. Not necessarily a lot of games this season where both were in the lineup. Referring to Ottawa's Khalil Pimpleton and Devontae Dedmon. But two multi-purpose weapons out there for Ottawa.
Another catch for Pimpleton. It's a first down at the Argo 36. It's caught inside the 20. It's Dominic Rhymes with the catch and another first down. Late in the half, under a minute to go, and the Red Blacks are knocking on the door again.
This is a bold throw by Drew Brown. You're going to see tight window here as he's looking for Dominic Rhymes. A couple of defenders doing the flybys here as Brown threads the needle to his second leading receiver, Dominic Rhymes.
The Red Blacks had led most of the way until the Argos' last possession when they went ahead by a point. Ottawa looking to retake the lead, heading to the dressing room for halftime. Brown dumps it off to Jalen Acklin. His first catch of the afternoon as he gets it inside the 10. Still shy of a first down. 27 seconds to go on the clock, and a second and short is coming up here for Ottawa.
And these two teams going back and forth. Impressive response drive here from Ottawa to march it down the field. Good communication there from Acklin, letting Brown know when he was in a little bit of trouble. Facing the heat, Acklin was there as an outlet.
Eighth different Ottawa receiver to have a catch in this game. 14 seconds and counting till halftime on a 2nd and 3. Pressure. End zone! Touchdown! Jalen Acklin again! Ottawa has the lead again.
Terrific clock management, excellent execution. Acklin on the left side of the screen, fakes out, bends in behind the goalpost. Nice timing there as Drew Brown has been money in the first half for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Jalen Acklin, 5th year out of Western Illinois. mentioned, started with Hamilton, appeared in a couple of Grey Cups with the Ticats before signing on with Ottawa as a free agent. And as a playoff touchdown catch for the Red Blacks, and Drew Brown, 26 of 31 for 256 now, and 2 touchdown passes. We hadn't had any reason to say Ackland's name until a couple of plays ago when he caught one for 7 yards to get him closer, and then that touchdown.
Yeah, Jalen Ackland looking to create a little drama. He's on the left side of the screen. You'll see him appear in behind the goalpost. Going deep. Kind of a double move. Initially shows quick out, and then takes it vertical. Then the Argo fans know what he thinks of them.
Well, we've talked to him at various points where the Red Blacks have been playing Toronto, and he does not disguise his hate for the Argos. And that goes back to his days with the Hamilton Tiger Cats down the QEW.
Yeah, I was going to say, coming into the league as a Hamilton Tiger Cat, he learned very quickly as a CFLer how he felt about the Argos and their fans. Has taken that sentiment with him to the nation's capital.
6 seconds to go. They do a short kick, and the Argos are on it. So an onside kick. It gets to about the Ottawa 47. 3 seconds left.
Yeah, I like the concept. I don't like the timing of it.
Well, I mean, it'd be a long field goal try for Hairelau, but there is time to try it.
Well, and here's the thing, is say there had been a penalty against Toronto on the kickoff where Ottawa is kicking from closer to Toronto territory, where if Ottawa can recover it, they're the ones in field goal range. But in this situation, even if Ottawa gets it, they don't really have time to run a play and then kick. So I don't see the value in the play at that time. It only benefited the Argos.
So special teams miscue, really, if Hairelau can make this field goal. It's a 53-yard try. And it's good. So the Red Blacks really gift the Argos 3 points heading into the dressing room. And Ottawa still leads. But it's down to 3 points.
A very peculiar decision by Ottawa in that situation. You know, it didn't look like Leone was trying to drive it deep. It looked like he was trying to kick it at one of the guys in the front row. You do it sometimes when you anticipate that the guys in the front row are bailing to get back to their blocks, that they're not watching the ball kick, that you may be able to bounce it off someone's back. But the timing of this, given, again, that they're kicking off from the regular spot, it's not a penalty against Toronto. This hurts.
But Ottawa does have a good first half. That last couple of plays notwithstanding, and especially Braylon Addison, very productive on the depth chart as a running back, but here as a receiver, and a beautiful catch with Royce Metier all over him for that Ottawa touchdown. He is standing by now with Matthew.
Well, Braylon, I know that you were off the field last year, recovering, getting back. Did you know you're going to be carrying the load today in that first half, 87 combined yards?
No, just trying to stay ready, stay dialed in for my team. We got to keep punching as a unit.
This feels like a prize fight. Does this team have what it takes in the second half?
Yeah, we knew all week it was going to be a playoff game. It's a great team. They've been good all year. You know, we've been fighting back and forth for second place. And so we came in knowing it was going to be a dogfight. We just got to keep punching.
Thank you, Braylon.
Thank you.
As I said, Kate, Braylon Addison said it too. It's a prize fight. It's a playoff game.
Halftime of the Eastern semifinal, the Red Blacks lead by 3. They lead in a number of statistical categories. In fact, the Argos offense has only run 11 plays, but there have been some big plays, including a touchdown to Tavares Daniels, who is standing by with Matthew Giannetti.
Tavares, How explosive is this offense when Chad Kelly gets a chance?
I mean, I think you see it, man. I think we had, 12 plays in the first half. We got 20 points. And I'm just excited to see what happens in the second half.
What was the discussion in the locker room knowing that this really does feel like a playoff game? The intensity is high.
Hey, we just got to execute our plays, take it one play at a time. The best team going to win this game, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Thank you, Carson.
Yeah.
DeVaris Daniels, 41-yard touchdown for him. Mackay Polk, 70-yard reception from Chad Kelly, who's 6 for 7. 182 yards, Dwayne, averaging over 30 yards of reception.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to watch the Toronto Argonauts offensive dynamic change over the course of this season, playing the first half of the year without Chad Kelly, playing the second half with Kelly. You look at those 30-yard completions, the number of them they've had. I believe Lapo said, was it 8 of them against Ottawa this season? I mean, they're seeing things in coverage that Kelly is able to exploit. But you look overall, Argos had 21 pass completions of over 30 yards this season. 14 of them came in the 8 games that Chad Kelly played.
And that continues that trend in this one, as he's had a couple of big ones that said averaging over 30, but those big touchdowns certainly bumping that number up. The Red Blacks have had the ball over 80% of this game. The Argos will start the second half with the ball and trailing only by 3. Janarian Grant on that kick return and gets it up across the 40-yard line. So have a look at Chad Kelly's first half, 6 of 7 for 182 yards and a couple of touchdown passes.
Yeah, ups and downs. You heard Matty talk about Kelly recovering after taking that big hit. The forced fumble by Lorenzo Malden. Rebounded well. Come back with a couple of the home run balls you talked about. First to Mackay Polk, then DeVaris Daniels. Making the most of limited opportunity.
And down only 3 to start the second half of the play action fake. Kelly has time, decides to take off and run now as he gets across midfield. And Frankie Griffin coming in. Argo fans, yes, a flag is down now for what looks like will be called a late hit on Griffin on Kelly.
And this is one I understand as a defensive player. They have to call it, but I understand why he's trying to make the hit. At a certain point, you've got to commit one way or another. Chad Kelly's a guy who can hurt you with his legs, but he was on his way down.
Major foul. Roughing the passer, roughing the quarterback. Ottawa number 28. 15-yard penalty enforced from the end of the play. And a first down.
So that ends up being another big play against the Red Blacks defense. The run was enough for a first by Kelly, and then tack on 15 for that penalty against Griffin.
And now the key for Ottawa, as we've seen with them in the past, particularly the game in Montreal late in the season, don't compound that mistake.
And Andre Proulx talking to Chad Kelly, who is being pulled from this game from the concussion spotter. He takes a knee. He looked like protesting the decision to remove him from this game. Frankie Griffin on that penalty had gone in. See Nick Arbuckle now, the backup quarterback today, and did get the shoulder in around the head of Kelly as he was going down.
Yeah, and I didn't see Kelly as he got up to see if he was unsteady, but definitely shot up high. You see him lay down for a second there. So the spotters doing their job to try to protect the player. Frustrating as it is for Chad Kelly in this moment.
So Nick Arbuckle is in for how long we don't know. Last week in the victory or loss in Edmonton, he played a lot in that game, relieving Cameron Dukes. Kelly didn't start. That's the run there by Kadeem Carey. And Arbuckle's numbers. In that loss in a close game in Edmonton last week, he was 22 of 32 for 378. 2 touchdown passes, 1 intercepted.
Yeah, Cameron Dukes started that ball game. He got banged up. Arbuckle came in, went the rest of the way. Did have 1 start for the Argos this season, a win. 100 pass attempts for him on the year.
That was back in week 10 here against the Calgary Stampeders that he got the start. The last 2 touchdown possessions. A good place to start at their own 40. And yeah, they needed only 3 plays combined. That one big one to Mackay Polk, and then the 2-play drive, ending with a touchdown to Tavares Daniels.
How's that for efficiency? 140 yards of offense, 2 touchdowns in 50 seconds.
He said, who needs to worry about time of possession if you can keep doing that?
Yeah, your defense may not love it. We'll see as this game goes on.
It's Nick Arbuckle in, handing off again. Kadeem Carey, biggest run of the afternoon. The Argos only ran the ball 3 times in the first half. That's one of the top running teams in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, nice job. Couple receivers blocking there. David Unger, maybe the smallest guy on the field right now, had a great kick-out block right at the point of attack here to spring Kadeem Carey.
And Chad Kelly has emerged from the tent, being examined, taken off the field for concussion protocol. And obviously looking helmet on to get back in this game. Still Argo football on a 1st and 10. Back to the ground again. Kadeem Carey asserting himself now in the second half. The 3rd leading rusher in the Canadian Football League as Kelly does come back on. And Nick Arbuckle heads off.
Well, there you see the versatility and depth of talent in the Toronto Argonaut offense. First half for them was all about the big play, the long ball. Kelly goes out of the lineup, seamlessly shift gears to handing the ball off to Kadeem Carey, who just churns up a pile of yards until their starting quarterback is able to re-enter the ballgame.
1st and goal, Kelly back in, throwing, touchdown. Another touchdown for Tavares Daniels. And Kelly got back in time to finish off this drive as the Argos have taken the lead again.
And we've talked about this before. A team that's receiving the football to start the second half, the points that Ottawa gifted them at the end of the first half, that this is now sort of 10 points consecutive possessions for the Argos. End of the first half, start of the second half. They make the most of it and reverse the scoreboard, basically. Go from Ottawa being up by 6 to being down 4.
Allowed the extra point. Tavares Daniels had 2 touchdowns in the regular season. In this Eastern semifinal, he has 2 touchdowns, including that one. 27-23, Argos ahead. Tavares Daniels suddenly a very busy receiver. Not a lot of catches, but he's making the most of them, Dwayne.
Yeah, he sure is. Caught the bomb from Chad Kelly in the second quarter. The Argos' second touchdown, and opens the 3rd quarter with his 2nd touchdown catch of the day, this time a short one. Big year last season, as you mentioned earlier, Rod, for that combination of Kelly to Daniels. Tavares with his first career 1,000-yard season last year. But they're finding their way at just the right time of year now.
2 catches, 2 touchdowns. Tavares Daniels, Khalil Pimpleton on the return across the 40, and then stopped right around the 43. Chad Kelly ultimately throws the touchdown pass, but he was off for a few plays after that hit by Frankie Griffin. Upset he had to leave for concussion protocol, but after a few plays was able to come back on and finish off the drive. And then had that moment afterwards with Andre Prue, the referee, explaining he had a job to do with concussion protocol.
Yeah,
said he had to leave.
And I'll tell you, that goes a long way with coaches and players. It's just the official taking the time to sort of explain what the situation was. Andre Prue couldn't really do that as Chad Kelly was coming off the field. But with the commercial break TV timeout, good job by Andre to get over there and make sure it was clear.
Drew Brown has completed 14 straight passes. When he last was on the field, and it was a touchdown, Ottawa had a 6-point lead, and then that bizarre short kick led to a last play of the half field goal for the Argos, and then they drove for the touchdown to open up the second half. Short yardage, and that's 2nd and 1. Drew Brown, though, very effective first half, throwing for 267 yards in that first.
Yeah, and the key for Drew Brown As you know, we've all talked, whether it has been us here in the booth or the guys in studio, about the non-traditional ball control offense for Ottawa. It all hinges on Drew Brown being accurate with the football, and he was certainly that in the first half.
And still a close game. Ottawa trailing by 4. So obviously needing that offense to drive down and get points, but control the ball as well. That toss inside to Pimpleton on the sweep, keeps his feet and picks up a couple of yards on first down as they just get it over midfield.
You notice on some of the runs to Pimpleton, just because of his size, he's not really a guy who's really able to run through tackles. So if Toronto's able to get a little bit of traffic there, they're doing a pretty good job slowing him down. So by remaining disciplined, not leaving him too much open room to use his speed, they've been able to contain Pimpleton on some of those plays so far.
1 yard gain for the rookie from Central Michigan, Khalil Pimpleton. 2nd and 9. Brown standing back, gets rid of it. No, intended for Rhymes down at the Argo 40. It falls incomplete, and 3rd down. The punting unit will come on for Ottawa.
A chance to try to seize back some of the momentum that Toronto had taken over right from the end of the first half. Missed here by Ottawa. We'll see what this punt cover unit can do in terms of containing Janarian Grant, trying to give Toronto a long field.
That ended a run of 15 straight completions by Brown, by the way. Janarian Grant inside the 10. Breaking loose. Still on his feet. And he gets up near the 25. Tyron Breda there, and Justin Howell in on the tackle. A gorgeous early November day. Playoff time. The CFL on TSN 27-23 Argos. You can watch the NFL tomorrow. Get ready for Sunday Night Football. The 4-4 Colts taking on the 5-2 Vikings. That's tomorrow, 8:20 Eastern, 5:20 Pacific. And TSN and CTV. The Vikings led by quarterback Sam Darnold. This was the Cotton Bowl. Back in 2017, Darnold was picked off for the touchdown by Damon Webb, who went on to the Canadian Football League, starting in Saskatchewan and moving over to become a member of the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Pick 6 for Damon Webb. Had a couple of those this year in the first meeting against Chad Kelly and the Toronto Argonauts back in Week 14. That TD place in Ottawa. 1st and 10. Argo ball. Kadeem Carey on that rush. And this is what I'm talking about, which is a great start for the REDBLACKS in their first meeting of the year against the Argos.
Yeah, a couple of first half pick 6s for Damon Webb in that ball game. First one coming as he breaks up an intended hitch screen. Second one, he takes it the distance. There you see multi-pick 6 games for Damon Webb against a couple of pretty good QBs.
Kelly's looking deep again. Coverage there. It's caught by Mackay Polk. Oh my goodness, inside the Ottawa 25. Every big play has been counting so far for the Argonauts.
Ottawa this time gets it covered. The halfback, DeAndre Lamont, goes with Polk. He's able to close. Money Hunter coming over, gets a piece of it. But great concentration. It's a good job stacking, getting on top of the defender by Polk.
All the way down to the REDBLACK 26, Kelly pulls it down and throws it into the turf as he's being taken down. Lorenzo Malden and Webb, or Santos Knox in the pressure there for Ottawa. Let's have another look at that big play to Mackay Polk again.
Toronto killing the Ottawa secondary with the deep ball. DeMonte Coxey loving it on the sidelines.
Mackay Polk has 4 catches for 158 yards. That's 70-yard touchdown. Another big play there to get it down to the 26. It's a 2nd and 10. The Argos with a 4-point lead. Looking for more very quickly. 4-man rush. Kelly with time. time. It is caught just shy of a first down. That's the first catch in this one by Jake Herslow. In just his second CFL game, he made his debut last week in Edmonton to wrap up the regular season and caught a touchdown pass from Nick Arbuckle.
Yeah, spent a little bit of time in Saskatchewan last year. Most of this season on the Toronto Argonauts practice roster. This is a guy they really like, but haven't had an opportunity to get an American receiver in the lineup. But with Coxie a late scratch today, he was brought on for insurance and gets the start.
1st and 10, faking the handoff to Carey. Kelly takes off again. Touchdown. Kelly runs again. This time runs it into the end zone and increases the Argo lead.
We spend so much time talking about what Chad Kelly does with his arm. And the big throws, this is the underrated part of his game. Very effective runner. When things break down, Kelly on the scramble. A couple of Red Blacks have a shot at him, but fights his way into the end zone. 2-possession lead for the Toronto Argonauts.
And all very short drives because of the big plays they've been able to make. Capped off with this. Kelly calls his own number when he couldn't find a receiver. Argos coaches loving that as they open up their lead. And Kelly, 17 unanswered points for the Argos. He's the latest one to find the end zone.
Yeah, a nice effort here from Chad Kelly. I think maybe his arm was tired from all the long throws here, so he just tucks this one and goes. Diving across the goal line to extend that Argonaut lead.
Well, Kelly has had 2 runs, both of them notable, for 29 yards. The first one is when he took the hit from Frankie Griffin and was taken out for concussion protocol reasons, and then that run into the end zone, 34-23, 17 unanswered. At one point, with 3 seconds to go in the half, Ottawa had led 23-17. So a big possession coming up now. You see that short kickoff again to keep it away from the 2-star returners. And it seems to pay off again, too. A very short return for the Red Blacks just across their 35. Drew Brown has great numbers on the day, but they need something big out of their offense again now with Toronto really seizing the momentum.
Yeah, you're kind of feeling Ottawa hanging on by their fingernails right now. This is a big drive for them in terms of trying to get some momentum back in this ball game.
As mentioned, Brown had completed 15 straight passes going back to the first half, and that streak just coming to an end with his last throw in the previous possession. They have it at the 37. They're trailing by 11. It's Jack Cassar, their special teams leader, getting some attention.
Yeah, Cassar, Carleton product. Guy that may have been envisioned as the heir apparent at middle linebacker to our friend Enoch Mwamba. Canadian middle linebacker for the Argos at the time. Cassar tied for the lead in special teams tackles this year. He has become dominant in that role. Guy who is known as Thor with the flowing blonde locks during his time with the Carleton Ravens.
22 special teams tackles. Timed with A.J. Allen of the Riders. That's complete. Up at midfield. That's Pimpleton with that catch. Mark Milton hauling him down, but good start for the Red Blacks here in this possession and a first down.
You can't ask a whole lot more of Drew Brown and the Ottawa offense in this football game. Doing their best to keep pace with the high-powered Argonauts. Biggest thing at this point is that the D needs to get some stops. They can't give up those big plays.
Thrown 2 touchdown passes, one to Braylon Addison, one to Jalen Ackland. They go on the ground that time. It's Addison. Mentioned it was last week that decided to put him in on the depth as a starting running back and got one for a touchdown as a receiver, but talked about the different offensive approach. Not much of that conventional running game for the Red Blacks.
Condell, not a stranger to being creative. During his time in Hamilton, they weren't always the team that relied on having a high-volume feature running back.
2nd and 6, swinging it out. Oh, and met immediately is Addison by Benji Franklin coming in for a big tackle to force another 3rd down.
Benji Franklin among the league leaders in defensive stops. Talk about plays resulting in no gain for the offense. Damon Webb and Benji Franklin top.
So the Ottawa drive stalls. Just inside the Argo zone, Richie Leone to kick it away from inside his 50. The lone returner, Janarian Grant inside the 10. Takes a pop, and he goes down just shy of the 15. So Argo football. An Argo lead, opening it up to 11 the last time they had the ball. Big defensive play there by Franklin. 34-23 in this East semifinal. Different offensive approach for Ryan Dinwiddie and the Argos compared to 2 weeks ago when they ran the ball a lot, feasting on big plays.
Well, they certainly are, and it's just been right down that seam every time. Safety Money Hunter trying to get out there to help out. First there was a touchdown to Mackay Polk, then Tavares Daniels. Both those back-to-back in the first half. Then a big play to Polk that set up the Chad Kelly touchdown run, extending the Toronto Argonaut lead to 11.
Kelly has thrown for 259 yards, 158 of that to one receiver, Mackay Polk. There's the one touchdown. Daniels has a couple. Kelly's 9 for 11 and 3 touchdown passes. Only 11 passes by the Argos in this game, but they're making them count. And much more uncommon running play there. It's Bryce Carter, late arrival back into the lineup for the REDBLACKS, and a key player, defensive end, with a tackle there, and Kadeem Carey.
Now you look at this Ottawa defensive line. As you mentioned, they got Bryce Carter back for the regular season finale after a stint on the 6-game injured list for him. Mike Wakefield tied for the team lead in sacks this year. It was Bryce Carter that led the way last year. Lorenzo Malden led the league the year before.
Illegal procedure. Toronto number 64. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Push him 5 yards back in that procedure call, and a 2nd and 14. The Argos hemmed in deep in their zone. Still a 2-possession game, 11-point difference now. And once again, the whistle blowing before the snap of the ball.
Timer, please reset the game clock to 3 minutes 56 seconds.
They're 5 minutes and they're taking the box. It's all man.
So they reset the clock. In that last meeting here at BMO 2 weeks ago, the Argos had a 32-point lead after 3 before the REDBLACKS came storming back. There's another sack on Kelly to push them even deeper. Michael Wakefield, one of the sacks leaders in the Canadian Football League. He had 8. It was a 5-way tie in that department. Has a big playoff sack to force the Argos to punt it away from their end zone.
And a massive play here from Wakefield. Looks like they had a twist on between he and Carter as he kind of looped wide there. Never actually went around Carter, but took a wide path there on the guard, Anthony Van Bell.
Michael Wakefield, who was on the REDBLACKS roster for their last postseason game, that was the Grey Cup in 2018. Remembers that day well in the icy field at Commonwealth Stadium when they lost to the Calgary Stampeders. And so John Haggerty punts it deep into his own zone, getting it near midfield. Devontae Dedmon fakes a little move and cuts it up. And Dedmon gets it inside the Argo 50. A good place to start for Drew Brown.
Hey, Mama, what's up?
We're going to get the sacks leaders and a very low leading total this year in the Canadian Football League, but good representation from the two teams playing right now.
Yeah, certainly 5 guys tied for the lead, 4 of them playing here today, making their presence felt. Michael Wakefield, Ottawa's nominee as most outstanding defensive player this year, following in the footsteps of his defensive line mates, Bryce Carter and Lorenzo Molden. The veteran Cleon Lang rounding out that starting front 4.
1st and 10. Ottawa trailing by 11 in the Argo zone. And no, intended for Rhymes with Wynton McManus right in behind him. Falls incomplete. 2nd down.
Yeah, Derek Parrish with the University of Houston from that left defensive end spot supplies the heat. Fighting his way past Zach Pelios there.
Parrish and Ralph Hawley, 2 key additions up front defensively for the Argos when you consider last year they had not only Sean Oakman, but Brandon Barlow and Wayne Hendricks all gone. Oakman leaving earlier this season. 2nd and 10. And it's caught right down at the 35. Coming back is Hardy. And a 1st down for the REDBLACKS.
Well, need a big play. Go to the reliable Justin Hardy. Good coverage there from Mark Milton, but as Brown starts to scramble, Hardy makes the play work by coming back to the football.
Marks it just inside the 35 of the Argos. Brown, no, closest to it was Franklin, took a dive at it, and the throw off to the right, but it falls incomplete. Yeah, Justin Hardy, more of an understated star with the REDBLACKS, just the way he goes about his business, but 2nd behind Justin McInnes in receiving yards this year, and all those catches too.
Yeah, impressive season, and just what a great addition he has been to this Ottawa team, coming in a couple of years ago as NFL veteran, a guy who was ready to contribute right away on a team that needed some receiving help.
2nd and 10. Brown, deep! No! Falls incomplete at one point. Looked like both an Argo and a REDBLACK had a shot at that ball. Deshaun Amos in.
Two Ottawa receivers basically end up on top of each other this route. Both Pimpleton and Hardy right there. Looked like Hardy might have been looking for a call from based on the contact. There, Amos goes up. To me, he's just trying to make a play on the football.
Pimpleton might have had a shot at a touchdown there. So Lewis Ward, 3 for 3, and 3 big points they're going for here to get this Argo lead trimmed down a bit. Ward, one of the best in the business.
We got white lightning running through our veins, and we'll die trying to save our family name. Where the whippoorwills will, the coyotes cry way back in the holler where the moon shines.
A minute to go till 3/4 time. First points of the half for the REDBLACKS. The 3 from Lewis Ward. So it's 34-26, an 8-point difference. The Argos on top. Under a minute to go until 3/4 time in this Eastern semifinal, with the winner going to Montreal next week. Kelly, shorter pass, and that's Herslow with it. Jake Herslow up to midfield, and a 1st down for the Argos.
Love the job Herslow does here, making the first man miss as he makes this catch. Quick spin to the outside. Knife up the field.
Herslow from Virginia Beach and played his college ball with the Houston Cougars. Yes, had that touchdown last week from Nick Arbuckle in Edmonton. The final regular season game, filling in for DeMonte Coxie. There's Deontay McMahon. to the right. Stays in bounds. Looks like he has another first down on the ground for the Argos. And a flag comes out.
Prior to yards being gained, holding Toronto number 80. 10-yard penalty. We're going to replay first down.
Perimeter run there. You see Davaris Daniels in the middle of the screen, keeping Damon Webb from being able to bounce outside on that one.
Negating that.
He may not
there.
like it, but it was a hold.
So 1st and 20. This is the last play of the third quarter. And a good quarter it's been overall for the Argos, with an 8-point lead from their 45. On that long first down, it is caught. Well, Daniels didn't like the penalty, but he probably feels a whole lot better about that big catch. It looks to be enough for an Argo first down. Kelly to Daniels, what a combination that's been. Not a touchdown this time, but the big play. One of many for the double blue. They'll take a lead. Trying to get to Montreal in a rematch with the Alouettes. REDBLACKS had the lead at halftime, but the Argos had momentum, and they cashed in on that with a couple more touchdowns to take a bigger lead, and they head into the fourth quarter, Dwayne, up by 8 points.
Yeah, the Argos have done a lot with a little in terms of time of possession, number of offensive plays, just slicing through the REDBLACKS secondary basically with the big plays. Chad Kelly goes down for a couple plays. They decide they want to go back to the run game, and Kadeem Carey looks good when called upon as well. Curious to see if we might see more of him in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the running game, which was such a big part of their victory over the REDBLACKS 2 weeks ago. And yet, after 3 quarters, the lead then was 32 points when Ottawa outscored Toronto 25-0 in that final quarter to make it a game at the end. They got close. They had a couple of onside kicks. It's an 8-point difference now to start the fourth. Kelly throwing, completing 2, and a short one to David Ungerer, who gets it inside the 35.
Nice misdirection play there to allow Kelly to get on the perimeter. He's got a little bit of time to find Ungerer and move the sticks.
A former Ticat started his CFL career in Hamilton. Went to the Grey Cup with the Cats. This is second year in Toronto. The Ottawa 33 now in a 1st and 10. Kelly to the right again. It's Herslow, his third catch of this game, and gets closer to the 25. It'll be a 2nd and short coming up. One thing the Argos did so well in that last meeting with Ottawa was get themselves in a 2nd and short position repeatedly, allowing them to sustain some long drives.
Argo offense just executing so well in this football game. But a long ball team, even without DeMonte Coxey. The best jump ball guys or contested catch receivers in the league.
Handing it off on 2nd and 2. And it's Kadeem Carey. Hasn't been as busy as we've seen in other games for the Argos this year. His first and double blue, but picks up a first down there inside the 20.
And I suspect, based on the way that this football game has gone, that Kadeem Carey is feeling pretty fresh coming into the fourth quarter. Not a ton of touches to be had in this one. As a result, we haven't seen as much of Deontay McMahon, Daniel Adeboboye as we did in other games during the season where there was a bigger workload for the running backs.
Another 1st and 10. Down to the 18. Throwing Kevin Mittal. And the rookie takes it down inside the 15 towards about the 12-yard line again. Setting up a 2nd and about 4 or 5 yards this time for Toronto.
As you can see, Mittal, a big receiver, built more like a running back or a fullback. We've seen a lot of his touches with the Argos this season. Just in the short passing game and letting him go to work after the catch, but an effective deep ball guy as well, and you'll certainly see that as his career continues.
2nd and 5, Ottawa 13. Kelly, touchdown! Jake Herslow. His 2nd touchdown with the Argos, but this one's a whole lot bigger than last week. It's increased Toronto's lead in the 4th quarter.
Herslow lined up out wide on the line of scrimmage. Polk is going to clear out. He's just going to come underneath, find the open space. He does a nice job of it. Easy read for Chad Kelly on the quick hitter. Herslow scoring a touchdown a game.
On a pretty good clip. Filling in for DeMonte Coxey. Herslow. And the Argos have their 3rd touchdown of this half. They trailed 23-20 at halftime. And now they're up 41-26. Late addition. And a step closer for the Argos to getting to Montreal in the Eastern Final.
Still lots of football to be played at BMO Field, but coming up after, it's the Western semifinal between Trevor Harris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders and Vernon Adams and the BC Lions. A trip to Winnipeg on the line. So send it back to Rod.
Just over 12 minutes to go in the 4th quarter here, with the Argos just scoring another touchdown. Jake Herslow celebrating, the new Argo, getting into the lineup last week against the Elks in Edmonton, and now has a playoff touchdown. Ira Lau to kick off. And a shorter kick, Ottawa football, and the pressure, Matthew, starting to heat up on the Ottawa REDBLACKS.
You know, Rod, at the start of the game, there was this jittery energy I could feel on Ottawa's sidelines. But now that they're down 15 to the Argos, and certainly the crowd of BMO Field is letting them know that, it is quite subdued here. And you get the feeling, boys, that this drive could be pivotal for the REDBLACKS.
No question, Matthew. As good as Drew Brown and the offense have been, 2 for 5 in the red zone. That's one thing when you consider Kelly and the Argonauts are 3 for 3 in the red zone, plus hitting big plays for touchdowns. As good as Brown's numbers have been, they've got to get something going here. 4 receivers to the right. He's looking that way. Will pump fake and checks it down to Pimpleton. Just takes it out of bounds across the 50.
Well, the Argos have taken it to the extreme. We take a look since Ottawa's last postseason game.
A lot of time. Grey Cup 2018. Trevor Harris was the quarterback. Bob Dice was the special teams coordinator back then. Dice coming over to the REDBLACKS in 2016. They won the Grey Cup here over Calgary and then lost to the Stampeders 2 years later in Edmonton. Last postseason game for them. Here's Brown. Deep and caught. Pimpleton has it. Big first down is what they need, approaching the Argo 25-yard line.
Well, and this is what I started to say prior to that play, was the thing the Argos have taken to the extreme is the number of big plays they've made in this game. That has been so much of their offense. The fact is, Ottawa really hasn't made any, and it's getting to the point in the game where they need it. So big gainer there to Pimpleton. Gets the REDBLACKS down in scoring range.
In fact, that is their biggest play. 37 yards. Brown to Pimpleton to get them down to the Toronto 22. Down 15 points. Brown to the right. Caught by Pimpleton again. Franklin makes sure he heads out of bounds. A second down is coming up.
A 37-yard completion to Pimpleton that moved Ottawa down here. 4 catches of 30-plus yards for him during the season. 3 of them came in the last 2 games of the regular season. He adds another one here. As much of a burner as he is, Took him a while to hit those big plays.
2nd and 4. Argo 16. Caught! Touchdown! Or was he taken down just shy? They signal it is a touchdown for Ottawa. Justin Hardy. Ball came out after he broke the plane. And the REDBLACKS, their first TD in the second half to get them a bit closer. And they will review, though. Was he down before breaking the plane?
They ruled a scoring play initially, so they'll automatically take a look at it. Knee is down before the ball is out, so that's not in question. I do think he was down before the ball broke the plane of the goal line.
Very, very close.
Knee is down there. You can see great shot.
That's the best view of it. Great to see that it's not a touchdown.
The previous play is under review.
And on that angle, you can clearly see it is going to be a 1st and goal for the REDBLACKS at the 1. Hardy has him close. Is the official command center result.
After review, the ball carrier was down with contact at the 1-yard line. 1st down Ottawa at the 1.
1st and goal, and a touchdown is a must. Under 10 minutes to go in the 4th. 15-point difference. Dustin Crum is in at quarterback. Short yardage. Crum keeping, and no, does not get there. Jake Seresna. Jeff Kassar.
Well, you see not much movement here. Ottawa up front as Kassar crashes down off the edge. Make the tackle on the Ottawa quarterback.
Stays in. On the 2nd and goal. Right side. Still no signal of a touchdown. The Argos defense stood him up again. 3rd down coming up. How big is this after it looked like Hardy might have had the score?
Toronto Argonaut defense holding firm. No push there for Ottawa. Do they go back to the well one more time with the sneak or try something a little more creative here on 3rd down?
Well, in a game of big plays, and there have been many of them, could this one be the biggest? 3rd and goal, Ottawa. 15 points down. Crum! Still no signal. Say no. They're still sorting it out.
He's
fucking short, baby.
Turnover on downs. No touchdown. What a stand for the Argo defense. Protecting their lead. Look, like the REDBLACKS had a touchdown earlier, so close. 3 cracks at it by Crum. Can't break the plane. They rule no touchdown. Argo football. First decision was no touchdown, but these situations, Dwayne, are automatically reviewed. Did Dustin Crum break the plane?
And we'll get a good look here from directly above. And there, the ball has to be across the plane of the goal line. Again, it's that front edge field side plane of the goal line, not the end zone side. It doesn't have to be completely across the line. It has to pass the front of the line.
That is so close. As said, the call was no, and you need enough evidence to overturn.
The previous play is still under review.
Yeah,
what a significant moment this is, given the score of this game.
Well, spider cam look from above. Think of where he's holding the ball. It has to be across the plane of the line. You can see the ball.
And from that angle, it looks like it was enough to break the plane and would be an Ottawa touchdown.
Yeah, it appears to me that the ball was in that gap, which is over the goal line, over top of the goal line.
They had 3 cracks at it. On the third, they initially said no. What's the decision now?
After review, the ruling on the field is overturned. It was a touchdown for Ottawa.
A big touchdown for Ottawa to keep them in this game. They were down 15 coming into that. And now a point after try coming up to make it a 1-score game again. So close for Crum, who had 3 cracks at it and did ultimately cross the line with the third.
So Ottawa was trailing by 15. In theory, your 2 scores can be an 8 and a 7. They're going for 2 here to try and get it down to 7 points. But if they miss,
then it's not. It's a 2-score game.
Yeah.
So,
but I guess they then have that answer with lots of time.
They'd want to know, do they need the 2-pointer? They're looking for 2 here to make it 7. Brown, end zone, no. So it stays a 9-point difference, 41-32. They're going for 2 and not getting it. But they do get an important 6 points to get that much closer. 4th quarter, halfway through. Semifinal, Bob Dice's REDBLACKS get closer. They did get the touchdown, but it is still a 2-possession game after their attempt at a 2-point conversion failed.
Yeah, and it is always the debate at that 15, score the 6, you're now at 9. Do you go for 2 now, or what do you do? And I appreciate the thinking.
Here's Janarian Grant. Got something going. He's stayed in bounds for a while, and his best return of this day. The REDBLACKS have been doing a very good job on him for the most part. So 7:48 to go in the 4th quarter. The Argos leading it by 9. And for Baron Miles' defense, it just keeps getting more important now.
Well, and it's the knowledge that the Argos have hurt them in 2 different ways. You certainly can't afford to keep giving up big plays, but you can't have them kill you on the ground and run the clock.
Well, they throw. It's caught by Mittal. It's a good pickup across the 50 near midfield, and a flag comes out late. Bennett Williams.
Probably a horse collar.
Major foul. Horse collar tackle. Ottawa number 14. 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
You can see the right hand of Bennett Williams clearly grasping the jersey.
And with that penalty, it gets inside the Ottawa 45 down to the 43. That first down, Kadeem Carey. Wonder in this situation how much the Argos would run the ball. Well, they're in 2nd and long now, but one thing both sides could agree about the value of the running game, if you have a lead late and you're looking to kill some clock, that's when it becomes very valuable.
Return alert!
That's it.
Hey, possible 2.
You know, you can make the argument that ball control is one thing with the high percentage passing game, but I don't believe that to be as physically tiring on a defensive front as running the football.
But it's a passing down in 2nd and 9. Kelly gets rid of it, deflected and caught. Went off the fingertips of Dejan Brissett into the hands of his teammate, Davaris Daniels, and a first down for the Argos.
Yeah, Kelly on the roll, throws it back across his body. Always a dangerous throw and very nearly trouble there. But takes an Argo bounce off the fingertips of Brissett.
And a beautiful catch on the tip by Daniels, who a couple of big catches for touchdowns in this game. And that one to an all-important first down.
And when you look at it, Daniels was ready to catch the football because he anticipated that the ball was coming directly to him before Brissett got a piece of it.
It is down to the Ottawa 25. A Redbacks player getting some attention right now. Davaris Daniels.
Timeout, please reset the game clock to 6 minutes, 17 seconds, 6:17.
And you see what he's done in his career. I mentioned a great start in part of a season with the Stampeders in 2016, and he ends up being the Rookie of the Year. And among active receivers in the CFL, leads the way at over 6,000. 4 catches, 88 yards, a couple of touchdowns, one big catch there to give up Toronto a first down as they're trying to grind this thing down now, leading by 9. The injured Redblacks player is the safety Money Hunter.
And as you saw, Davaris Daniels on the sidelines. Obviously, first priority is helping his Argos take care of business, and then no doubt hustling home to watch Dad's Saskatchewan Roughriders in the second half of this playoff double bill.
His father, Philip, who played in the NFL, is the defensive line coach of the Riders. Yeah, part 2 coming up. Western Semi, Saskatchewan and BC. And there is Dejan Brissett. Got his hands on the other pass, but gets that one down to the 20 on that catch. Justin Howell in at safety now with the injury to Money Hunter.
Yeah, Howell in his first game back after a stint on the injured list. Veteran, one of the special teams leaders for Ottawa. Alonzo Adai had been their starting safety for most of the season. He got injured. They shuffled the ratio a little bit to play the American Money Hunter at that spot.
Ottawa 19. Kelly, they get him. He is sacked. Back near the Ottawa 30, Michael Wakefield coming in again. Had a sack earlier in this game.
Timeout, Ottawa.
Leon Lang and Wakefield both getting some push there. Wakefield, the one who gets to the Argo quarterback. Snuff out this drive.
So 3rd down and 12. Hyralau is on again. His biggest kick was right on the final play of the first half. He hit it from 53.
His longest of the season.
Got his longest, and how timely was that after that kickoff by Leone? Went short. Hit a member of the Argos and gave him a chance to put 3 more on the board before halftime. There's 3 more on the board for the Argos, increasing their lead to 12 at 44-32 with just over 5 minutes to go. NBA on TSN to feature Vince Carter and his retired number being retired. The great Toronto Raptor. That's coming up Sacramento in the Raptors. Tangerine Raptors basketball just down the road here in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. And Vince Carter back in town. Wonder the influence that he had.
Yeah,
on the NBA in Toronto.
The influence he had on basketball, not just in Toronto, but across this country. Nice to see Vince honored by the Raptors.
Four receivers to the right. Brown looks that way. And that is caught by Martner, shy of the 45. The Redblacks can pretty safely say now need a touchdown. 4.5 minutes to go, down by 12.
And we talked about their need for big plays. As you watch that clock tick down, that need becomes even more pressing here. They got to get a shot down the field. Chunk play.
Second and 6. It's caught. First down at the Argo 50. The Red Blacks will try to work quickly now. Now they know in this field they can score quickly. They did 2 weeks ago. But the circumstances were a bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, the Argos probably sitting back more in that one than they will be in this situation.
I don't think the Argos won't remember what happened a couple of weeks ago when they saw a huge lead fritter away. Those are a couple of onside kicks done successfully that helped Ottawa out. Screening to Acklin. Good yardage after that catch as well as he gets it close to the Argo 35.
Nice execution there. Acklin shows us the bomber guy coming in to help in protection. You see him in the back of the formation. He shows like he's going to come across and block. Lets the rusher go as Drew Brown drops it over top. Peleos Bladek leading the way.
At the 37. Red Blacks need a touchdown, onside kick, and a touchdown. And that is knocked away. Going up, the rookie Tyshawn Blackburn. And the 3-minute warning is given. 2:52 on the clock. Chad Kelly and the Toronto Argonauts. They want to face the Alouettes again in the Eastern Final and write a different story. They're getting closer. Still in charge here, leading by 12 with just a couple of minutes to go.
Welcome back to BMO Field, a key 2nd and 10 for the Ottawa Red Blacks, and you can feel it here on the sidelines. It's real quiet right now, especially on the Argos sidelines. I describe it as businesslike, but on Ottawa's sideline, Michael Wakefield keeps going to all his teammates and saying, let's go, guys. Rod?
Well, Matthew, the Red Blacks certainly had their chances. They played a much different game than the one 2 weeks ago. They led for a while. You're thinking about that late first half field goal that they gave up. And they are down now 12 points. 3-down ball from here on in. Needing touchdowns. Starting in this drive. 3-man rush. Brown gets rid of it. Intercepted. Quentin McManus. The leader on that Argo defense. He pitches it back. Tavares McFadden has it. And has something big going here to put this one away. He can run all the way to Montreal. Touchdown for the Argos, courtesy their defense.
Ottawa having to be more aggressive offensively means Toronto can be more aggressive defensively. Robbie Smith supplying the pressure. Brown hurries up that throw, and who else to make a huge play but Quentin McManus? A risky decision to lateral deep in your own territory at this stage of the game, but it definitely pays off as Tavares McFadden takes it to the house.
The second touchdown this year scored by McFadden. He had a pick 6 against Winnipeg back in the regular season. And that one pretty much seals the deal with the point after by Hairolahu with 2:23 on the clock and a 19-point lead. Now I say this realizing that we were speaking in similar terms a couple of weeks ago when the Red Blacks quickly and furiously cut into that lead, but it's daunting now.
It certainly is. Down to just 2:23 on the clock. Big plays deciding this game, and the Argos are the ones that have made them all.
You speculated a couple of weeks ago when Ottawa scored 25 in the fourth quarter, that the Argos surviving that late comeback might have actually helped them instead of hurt them if there was a scenario like this that they know, even with only 2.5 minutes to go, they certainly can't get complacent now.
Yeah, you learn some things from adversity and players being put through situations as well, even how to better execute with your hands team and so on. Having had some game reps, painful at the time, but likely proving valuable now when it counts that much more.
That was Drew Brown's 50th pass and his first interception thrown in the intensity of Ryan Dinwiddie. Fourth year as head coach of the Argos, fourth home playoff game, and looking for his second win out of those four. The heartbreak last year against the Alouettes. Lost the Eastern Final in 21 to Hamilton before beating Montreal in 2022, advancing to and then winning the Grey Cup over Winnipeg 2 years ago. But Devontae Dedmon, the injured Red Blacks player, getting attention on the field. But 2:17 on the clock. And sure, they can say, a lot of them too, Dwayne, of the Argos have remembered the pain of last year here on this field in the Eastern Final against the Alouettes, that they try to put it aside. It doesn't matter now, but I can't help but think as they get ready to go to Montreal, assuming they hang on to this, that some of them will be thinking about what happened in the Eastern Final last year and would love to flip the script in the Alouettes.
Yeah, certainly a feeling. I don't think it's so much about vengeance as just an opportunity that got away from them last year and having a second chance to play in an East Final, regardless of whether it's home or on the road. We see Brown forced to step up with Robbie Smith coming around the corner.
And Tavares McFadden, after that toss by McManus, finds an opening, takes it in. Dinwiddie and the Argos starting to celebrate with a 19-point lead in these final minutes. Devontae Dedmon getting help now, walking off the field and limping. The 3 previous years, the Argos hosted the Eastern Final. Trying to get back to that CFL Final Four game, this time on the road in Montreal. That one is caught. Out around midfield is Braylon Addison.
Well, Ottawa's going to keep swinging till the end here. Trying to force something to happen, but we all know about that Toronto defensive line, their ability to get after it, and they'll just be pinning their ears back. Trying to get to Drew Brown right now.
There's 2:10 on the clock. And coming up, the Western semifinal. Vernon Adams and the BC Lions up against Trevor Harris and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Trevor Harris, the quarterback in Ottawa, the last time they had a postseason game, that was 6 years ago. And it's been some lean years for the Red Blacks in between. A couple of 4-win and 3-win seasons before breaking out this year, winning 9-8-1 they finished with, and back to the playoffs. But in a bind right now. Oh, intercepted! Benji Franklin! Could it be happening again? It is! Back-to-back defensive touchdowns. And the Argos are really running away with it now.
The risk of these kinds of plays from an Ottawa perspective obviously increases when you get in this situation. You're pressing, you got to make something happen offensively. You hate to see one like that off the receiver. But the Argos, give them credit for making plays happen. Tight window. Franklin steps in front of it. Then the CFL leader this season In past breakups, Benji Franklin, bit of a slow start to the season, spent a little bit of time at the field corner spot, really seemed to find his home on the boundary side.
A day of big plays for the home side. At first on offense for the Argos, and in this fourth quarter, their defense kicking in a couple of touchdowns. 58-32, under 2 minutes to go. And Toronto can make plans for another Eastern Final meeting against the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah, Franklin, nice jump on the ball. I don't know if the receiver got a piece of it at all as Franklin stepped in front. Disappointment for Drew Brown and the REDBLACKS.
And for the Argos, who had 3 regular season meetings against Montreal, and they did win 2 of them, including one at Molson Stadium. 58 points scored, 3rd most in the history of the CFL playoffs. At 68 points in a playoff game against Winnipeg back in 1996. That's the record. The Argos have racked up a lot here. And yes, against the Alouettes in the regular season, Montreal won here in week 4. 2 weeks later, the Argos beat the Alouettes at McGill, and that was Montreal's first loss of the season. That was a game Cody Fajardo got hurt early. And then they met again last month, Dwayne, here at BMO, and the Alouettes had just found out they had clinched first before the game. They knew they already had first place wrapped up. And that was a close one. The Argos did manage to win that, ran the ball very well against Montreal. That was the Alouettes' first road loss in over a year.
Yeah. I think in the world of storytelling, probably a matchup a reasonable number of people wanted to see.
Well, it writes itself in
the return match.
Yeah, absolutely. After the Argos at 16-2 were favored against Montreal in the Eastern Final here a year ago. That's Khalil Pimpleton. Keeps working, keeps fighting down about the 45. But that game, that Eastern Final a year ago here, Chad Kelly's first playoff start, I should say. He got intercepted. They had an impressive opening drive. He was picked off by Marc-Antoine Dequoy. It went the other way, and it set the tone for a game where the Alouettes defense in particular really dominated. 9 turnovers forced in that game, 4 interceptions. And Montreal, of course, goes on and beats Winnipeg to win the Grey Cup. Now, in a game this decisive now, you still wonder about this decision at the end of the half on that kick that ended up going to Toronto. And that squib and setting up a field goal in the final play of the half.
Yeah, I mean, presumably they're trying to get the ball to go a little deeper there, get it on the ground, run timeout, not let it get back to Janarian Grant. But the fact that they don't, it did. It changed the face of the game. It changed from an emotional point of view, changed the momentum of the game. From a strategic point of view,
caught at the 20. Barely a minute to go. Hardy.
You even go back strategically to when Ottawa trailed by 15. And they score a touchdown. Like, if they hadn't given up the 3 points and instead of 15, that's 12, you don't have to go for 2 then. Right? And going for 2 left it as a 2-score game at that point. And yeah, just costly with the amount of time left. You know,
there are 2 offsetting fouls, 15-yard penalty. Ottawa number 54, Toronto 94. The clock will start on the snap.
You know, you look at the squib versus, look at what Toronto's done on their kickoffs all day today.
Yeah.
Right? With the
moonshot
kicks, it's not getting to the deep returner if your fear is Janarian Grant. the guys in the next row aren't going to return the ball. The clock's going to run out. And you go to the dressing room with a 6-point lead.
That one's caught by Ackland, who had a touchdown earlier in this game, and back then had given the Red Blacks the lead. Late in the half, after the Ackland touchdown, they had a 6-point lead. Looked like they were going to take that to the dressing room until the aforementioned short kick that led to the field goal to cut their lead to 3 at the half. And you're right, from a momentum point of view, that really hurt the Red Blacks, and the Argos jumped on it. A couple of touchdowns, quick touchdowns to start these.
Well, it was gift points, and again with Toronto receiving to start the second half, and Toronto comes out and scores a touchdown. Like, Toronto had back-to-back possessions. So you said it at the time, Rod. Drew Brown goes off the field with 6 seconds left in the first half, and he has a 6-point lead. The next time he even sets foot on the field, they're behind. Toronto has scored 10 points before Ottawa's offense has even had a chance to get back on the field.
41-9 the score in favor of the Argos since the decision. Just a minute to go in this East semifinal, and the Argos in charge and continuing to flex their muscle as Jake Ceresna is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Jake Ceresna, who started his CFL career with the Ottawa Redblacks.
Yeah, left side of your screen. Fights his way through 2 offensive linemen to get a hand on that one. Ceresna, who as impactful as he was, 8 sacks from his defensive tackle spot. That's actually his first pass knockdown of the year.
Coming with a minute to go. And then the Argos are going to be off to Montreal to face the Alouettes. In that game, for the right to go to Vancouver and break up 111. Blitz coming. He gets rid of it. Martner with it inside the 10, but Academic now with a 26-point difference. An injured player, Deshaun Amos, is down. One of the stars of the secondary for the Argos. So we know Toronto's going to Montreal for the Eastern Final. Who will be going to Winnipeg in the West? Trevor Harris, Vernon Adams. Once teammates with the Alouettes. A.J. Ouellette, William Stanback. And the BC Lions. Hey, third-place teams have done it before. Remember the Blue Bombers of 2019. They had to go on the road, win a couple of road games to get to the Grey Cup, and they won it. So the Lions keeping the faith. The Riders, though, look great against them the last time they met just 3 weeks ago.
What do you say?
When Saskatchewan clinched a home playoff date. Amos is still down. And that's the thing about this for the Argos now. They know they're moving on. It's the injury concerns. Defensive halfback and veteran Deshaun Amos.
Well, you'll see Amos here coming up to make the tackle. You see him grab his left leg there immediately. It looked like Martiner's left knee caught him on the inside of his knee. Obviously concern here for the Argos. Again, Deshaun Amos. Kind of a quiet second half to the season for him, but made a lot of big plays for them through the first 9 or 10 games of the year. Went on to earn their nomination as most outstanding defensive player. Toronto perhaps fortunate to have a little bit of depth at halfback, having picked up second-year man Kenneth George. Getting some time now. He came over from Hamilton. He was released there when they went through their coaching changes defensively.
And Amos also with a connection, as many Argos do, to the Calgary Stampeders, part of the team in 2018 on the roster that year when Calgary won the Grey Cup, but favoring that leg as we saw as he walks it off with some help. part he has been of that Argonaut secondary. 5 interceptions to lead the way for Toronto in 2024. And walking a little better as he heads off to the sideline. Look to the end zone and a touchdown late in this one for Braylon Addison. Not enough in this day with 40 seconds to go, but upwards of 40 points being put up by the Red Blacks. In the first half especially, offense was not the problem.
Yeah, Addison's free release to the flat gets a little rub from Khalil Pimpleton. Upfield, making it hard for Mark Milton to get out there in coverage.
It's commonly said as a team faces the end of the season looking for something to build on, but the Red Blacks, when you look back at 2024 and the 2-point conversion try doesn't work out, intended for Hardy, but Wayne, this is an Ottawa team that's seen a lot of hard times since that last postseason game in the Grey Cup 6 years ago, and yes, something to build on. A great home record and a winning record overall secured last week against Hamilton at 9-8-1, but I think something for fans to look forward to next year.
Yeah, certainly. You mentioned the record, obviously a positive with the turnaround there, but it's not just the record, it's not just the results, right? You talk all the time in building a team about process, and a lot of it is about having the right people. And when you look at guys like Drew Brown, for example, Dominic Grimes coming back, bringing in a Darius Pickett. Darius played it. Bob Dice talked to us this week about how unique it's been this year, not just the camaraderie of the team, which he loves, but the fact that a lot of the guys in leadership roles are guys that were new to the team this year and sort of stepped in and were assimilated into those roles very quickly. So you've got a lot of pieces there to build and grow with going forward for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
Drew Brown was 8-6-1 as a starter his first year as a CFL starting quarterback, coming over and I'm sure learning a lot under Zach Collaros and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And we talked about the single team record for points. Now the Argos are third, but you combine these points today, that ties a playoff record in CFL history. Most combined points scored in a single game at 96. Short kick. Saw Lewis Ward do this well a couple of weeks ago, but that time the Argos are ready, and it's, look who it is, Tavares Daniels taking it off the hop. Ward, a couple of weeks ago as Ottawa tried to come back, executed 2 of those as Ottawa got the ball and ended up scoring.
Well, no doubt there was a little PTSD for the Argos. With Lewis Ward lining up for that short kick, given the way that those turned out for Toronto in the regular season. But as you said, they get it done, and this goes back to what we talked about, right? The adversity of it during the regular season, they got things cleaned up with the hands team in the playoffs.
Learn from it. Victory formation, Nick Arbuckle out. They get set for the first Eastern Final in Montreal since 2012. By the way, that one back in 2012, it was the Argos against the Alouettes, and Toronto had a new assistant coach that year, the quarterback's coach by the name of Jason Moss. Might remember that year. But it was the Alouettes' triumph of the year ago in the East Final here at BMO Field. And now the Argos will be hoping to return the favor next week at Molson Stadium in Montreal. The Alouettes, the defending champions, have other ideas, I'm sure, looking to get back to the Grey Cup for a second straight year. Ball down, game over, Argos win, and moving on to the Eastern Final for a 4th straight year. They defeat the Ottawa Red Blacks 58-38.
put forth by the Toronto Argonauts here. After these two teams had split their regular season matchups, each team having dominating moments during those regular season games. In the rubber match here, Ottawa hung tough for a long time, went toe-to-toe leading at halftime of this ball game, but the Toronto Argonauts, on the strength of their big plays, both offensively and defensively, despite a CFL record 46 completions by Drew Brown in this game.
Chad Kelly's numbers 18 for 20, 358, 4 touchdowns, no picks, standing by with Matthew.
Chad, that's a playoff record for points for the Argos. Is this the most explosive team in the CFL?
No, we're just trying to keep on working hard every day, stack good days on top of good days. Just try to get better each and every day.
And to that point, does it feel like unfinished business now that you're going to Montreal in the East Final?
We're just trying to get better each and every day. 1-0 is our mentality.
Thank you for this.
Go Argos.
Chad Kelly didn't need much time when it came to some of those touchdowns that they ended up driving for as well. But the Argonauts, not as good in the regular season in terms of record as last year where they finished 16-2. But as he had talked about, not how you start, it's how you finish. The Argos hoping to make that next step and get to the Grey Cup. But first, the Alouettes stand in their way. That's our Eastern Final matchup. Thank you for watching this East semifinal from Toronto. Have a great night, everyone.